Good morning, welcome to Brussels. Had a bit of a chaotic journey getting here, but we've made it. Now it's time to explore.
For the entirety of my stay here in Belgium, I was based at the Sleep Well Youth Hostel in Brussels. This was a very good price, especially as a solo traveller, and included a free breakfast. I stayed in a mixed dorm and had a few good conversations with the others in my room, so I definitely recommend staying here if you're looking for somewhere cheap. I began my day in Brussels by heading down some random streets whilst heading roughly towards the centre of the city, just to see what random things I could bump into. Before too long, I found myself at the Royal Galleries. Built between 1846 and 1847, the Royal Galleries are an iconic location in Brussels. There are plenty of shops along the gallery, including many chocolate shops. I'll be back later in the video once all the shops have opened up to take a look inside. I had booked myself onto one of the free walking tours, which was meeting at the Grand Place, so I headed over there nice and early to get a look around. When I arrived, I was met with some stunning architecture and incredible detail across all of the buildings in the Grand Place. The Grand Place is the central square of Brussels, and construction began all the way back in the 11th century, and wasn't complete until the 17th century. After a little look around, I met up with my tour guide who introduced himself and began telling us about the history of the Grand Place.
We have to come to the issue of my name and how I talk. You can hear something is very wrong with your tour guide. I was born in Ireland to Irish parents, but the reason I am here is due to this big blue flag up here, the European Union flag.
Our first stop on the tour was the famous Mannekin Pis. The first bronze statue dates back to 1619, and over the years the statue has endured multiple hazards, including bombings and theft. The statue also has two counterparts, which I found whilst exploring by myself: Mannekin Pis, which is the dog version of the statue, and Mannekin Pis, which is the female version of the statue. After learning more history about the Mannekin Pis, we headed over to the stock exchange to learn about the history of the building and what it is used for now.
Brasserie, cafe, a public space, and also the Belgian Beer Museum is up on top. There is a bar at the end.
The final part of the tour took us up to the Royal Palace and came to an end just behind Mont Des Arts. Mont Des Arts is a lovely little green space that looks back towards the centre of Brussels. It's the perfect area to come and sit with a drink if you're in need of a rest from walking around. I was on a tight schedule, however, so I wasn't able to get much rest in. I decided that my next stop would be at the Halle Gate, which is an interesting building and museum, but unfortunately for me, the museum was closed on Fridays. So after a look at the exterior, I headed over to a nearby park at the Square of Petit Sablon, a very well kept garden with a range of statues to the rear and a fountain at the centre. But just across the road from the garden is the Church of Our Lady of Victories, which was built in the 15th century in a Gothic style and is one of 3 Gothic churches still standing in Brussels today. I head inside after slight confusion as to why a door opens directly into another door, and take a look around at all the intricate detailings in the church. It was free to look around this church, so definitely go and check this out if you're ever in Brussels. The European Parliament was up next on my list of things to see. Located a little bit of a walk away from the church, I eventually turned up to have a look around and see the building up close as well as the garden located behind. Not too far from the European Parliament is the Parc du Cinquantenaire, which has a few museums and interesting structures. The most impressive feature, however, is the triumphal arch located at the back of the park. The final landmark I wanted to see in Brussels was the Atomium, so I took the metro out to have a look at this unique structure. The Atomium was constructed as the centrepiece of the 1958 Brussels World Fair and stands an impressive 102 metres tall. I bought a ticket for €16 that allowed me to go up the elevator to the top floor, as well as around the exhibition rooms inside each of the spheres. I would highly recommend going out to see this if you're ever in Brussels. It's definitely one not to miss. It was then time to head back into the centre of Brussels to complete a couple of missions. The first was getting some chocolate from the Royal Galleries, and the second was to find myself the national football shirt to add to my collection. For my evening meal, I headed to Le Sirio to try some Belgian beef stew, and afterwards I found myself some frites to wrap up my day in Brussels. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on another video soon.